Shalom. Let's give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us His word. I just got this article at zerohedge.com, which further proves that the Earth is in need of new management. These heathens are out here destroying the globe, whether it be through pollution, chemtrails, or this recent example of nuclear power plants. They create this nuclear technology that creates all this radiation, which is just disastrous for mankind, people, as well as the earth, and for human life, all types of life. And that radiation is very poisonous. I remember a few years back, the Fukushima power plant had a meltdown a few years back, like 2011, or collapsed based off an earthquake, according to the article. I forgot how it did, but an earthquake and a tsunami that collapsed the plant, and a lot of that radioactive material seeped down to the ocean. And now they're talking about releasing more radioactive, water from that plant into the ocean. That's just gonna cause more death, in the sea life, and who knows what else, in the future. But yeah, this article was dated Saturday, May 21st, 2022, entitled Japan Nuclear Regulator Greenlights Radioactive Water Release from Fukushima. The Japanese Nuclear Regulator Authority has given its initial approval to TEPCO to start releasing irradiated water from the Fukushima plant that collapsed during a massive earthquake and tsunami in 2011. Plans were revealed last year to pour the water from Fukushima into the sea after an assessment that would check whether there were any safety issues with such a plan. According to the Nuclear Regulator Authority, there are none. Final approval will be granted in a month after the public has the opportunity to comment on the issue. The UN's International Atomic Energy Agency will also carry out safety reviews of the water release. There are about 1 million tons of contaminated water from Fukushima that TEPCO, the operator of the nuclear plant, has been looking for ways to dispose of for several years now. Releasing the water to the ocean has emerged as the most viable solution to the problem, despite opposition from inside Japan and its neighbors. Despite the absence of viable options, environmental groups and fishing industry organizations are against the release of the liquid into the sea, even with assurances from scientists that the risk of contamination is low. The water will be first filtered and then diluted to reduce the concentration of radioactive material 40 times. According to some of the reports from last year that were confirmed this year as well. The release is scheduled to begin this year if the Nuclear Regulator Authority gives its final go-ahead to TEPCO. Back in 2011, official calculations by the Nuclear Damage Compensation and Decommissioning Facilitation Corp pegged the cost of decommissioning the Fukushima nuclear plant at some $75 billion. So yeah, thinking about pouring all this more radioactive water into the ocean. And I just read that, the fishing industries, environmental groups, and fishing industry organizations are against it. And they should be, because it's going to damage a lot of that marine life, And who knows the damage that's already been caused back in 2011. I'm pretty sure they're still feeling the effects today. Just like that oil spill that took place, over there in the Gulf of Mexico. Millions and millions of oil was just released into the ocean due to the oil spill, or the pipe broke or whatever. That oil's still down there, and that's That's really bad for the environment, man. When that oil gets on, you can't get it off. I was at a beach recently, and they were doing a lot of the offshore drilling. And some of that oil will wash up on the shore on the beach, and you would get it on your feet. And a lot of the hotels, they'll provide a certain, it's kind of like a wet nap or whatever, but it has like coconut oil on it. That's the only way to get that oil off. You got little oil slicks that will stick to the bottom of your feet. So you can imagine what all that marine life is going through when you have these oil spills and all that. But the Earth's in desperate need of new management, and when Yahushua comes back, he's going to give his men the power over these nations. First scripture is Psalms 2:8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. And thou shalt break them with the rod of iron, and shalt dash them in pieces like the potter's vessel. Yeah, ask the Lord, you'll give the heathen for thy inheritance, Because this has to stop, man. The earth, they're messing up the earth, Ask of me, and I'll give the heathen for thy inheritance. That's slavery. The elect is going to have rulership over the planet Earth again when they're joint heirs, when they become joint heirs with Yahushua, when Yahushua returns, and they're going to rule them with a rod of iron, man. That hard dictatorship, man. And it's not going to be a democracy; it's going to be a dictatorship, man. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron; thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. The scriptures say even the trees are going to rejoice, when the men of the Lord are back in power, when Israel's set up back again, man. Next scripture is Revelation 2:25. But that which ye have already, hold fast until I come. Yeah, this truth, this doctrine, man. Hold on fast. Hold on, man. Endure until the Lord comes, man. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. So yeah, you're going to want to be part of that number, man, that peaceful multitude, that number, to get power over these nations, man, and to rule over them. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and as the vessels of the potter shall they be broken into shivers, even as I received of my Father. So that's the precept we just read in Psalms. We read it in the Old Testament, and read it in the New Testament. Same thing, He shall rule over them with a rod of iron. All right, and that's what these nations need. They need to be ruled over, man. Because these nations are bastards, man. But the last scripture is Ezekiel 39:12. This is right after, that World War III. The first job of these elites really is to clean up all them dead bodies, man. They're going to be over there in the Valley of Decision, over there in the Middle East. Ezekiel 39:12. At 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yeah, complete number of months, complete number of time, all those dead bodies are going to be buried over there in the Middle East, in Israel, to cleanse the land, to purify, fertilize the land, man. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown the day that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord power. And they shall sever out men of continual employment. And that's the point, man. Continual employment, man. That's slavery, man. There's always going to be something to do, man. Passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search. The point is to sever out men of continual employment. You're going to round up these other nations, separate them back to their biblical lands where they're supposed to be at. And they're going to serve us, man. So no more, nuclear power plants, no more oil spills, no more chemtrails, None of that, man. Or GMO foods, just destroying people and destroying the earth, man. You scroll down, just drop down to verse 21. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, in my hand that I have laid upon them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord, their power. From that day forward, man, there's not gonna be no confusion. We're gonna know who Yahweh Shai is. We're gonna know who Yahweh is. You know, he's gonna be our power forevermore, man. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore I hid my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they by a sword, and all the heathen, the whole world's gonna know why we were at the bottom of the barrel. Right now they think we're just, inferior, mentally inferior, all that. We're just natural born slaves, whatever. No, we went into slavery because for our iniquity, man. So we trespassed against, Yahweh and his laws, man. And that's why he hid his face, just like I said. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So they're gonna know, why we went to slavery, man. Not because they were stronger than us, but because we trespassed against our power, And we're gonna get that respect back as a people, man. We're gonna get that fear back from the heathen. They're gonna fear us, and they're gonna respect us again, man. But yeah, I just got this little article I wanted to bring out, how these nations are just destroying the earth continually, and it's just time for new management. But as we read Revelation, he that overcometh to keep my works to the end, to him will I give power over the nation. So you got to overcome, to endure. He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved, man. So you always got to endure, and hold fast unto this truth, man. It's the very end. But with that, shalom all.